So, I was watching Inside Out 2 the other night, which is a really good movie, by the way, and I just really enjoyed it. I felt like all these new emotions that were introduced, and there was one in particular that really resonated with me, even though it only got a few seconds of screen time. Nostalgia. Maybe it's because I've been talking a lot about this feeling of getting older, where I'm really starting to have these moments where I'm feeling this nostalgia of things from my childhood. And in particular, one thing that I really loved and miss from when I started blogging, maybe like 12 years ago, was monthly favorites. So I'm bringing it back. This video is my September monthly favorites, where I'm going to start sharing with you 5 things that I really loved each month in all sorts of different categories. So this month, I'm starting with rituals. Every morning, I get up feeling really excited, and I'm gonna let you in on my little secret. You wanna know why? Well, it's because I get up and make my homemade strawberry matcha latte in my at-home cafe. Since we had a roommate a couple of months ago, shout out to Tiff, who came and introduced me to matcha lattes, I just could never stop making them. It all started because she had this 1 kilogram bag of matcha that she brought from Japan, and she let me try some. So now every week I'll blend strawberries and make this homemade puree, which I add to my matcha lattes. Then when I get up in the morning, I go and dawdle over to my lovely at-home cafe setup, which is still evolving. It's very early days. I pull out the scales, I pull out the whisk, I heat up the whisk and make sure its bristles are soft. And then it just feels like this therapeutic process to kick off my day. Also, huge shout out to my chubby glass, which is actually more like a bowl, but I found it at Victoria's Basement for $3, and it has just up-leveled my matcha game immensely. Like, the satisfaction that I just get from drinking out of that bowl is so good. I've also been seeing a lot of TikToks of people doing at-home cafes and inviting their friends over and doing this kind of day event, and that's something I'm really, really keen to do soon. My next favorite is in the rituals category again. So I've been feeling very much like life just passes by so quickly, and I forget about what happens every day. I found it really eye-opening and a little bit shocking when I heard someone once say that you can live all these years in your life and have all this time pass by, but by the end you only remember really 10% of it or even less. And often the memories that you have of your past life are not even memories of those actual moments, but memories of the memories that you're having. So each time you remember something, you're just thinking about the past memory that you had and building on it. So over time, that's why your memories can become a little bit fictitious as well, because you're layering on kind of elements that you think you remember, but then those end up being your real memories. That is just mind-blowing to me. And so rather than passing each day by and almost taking life for granted a little bit, I've wanted to do more reflection and be mindful of the days that I'm having, even if they're the most normal kind of non-eventful day. So I've been starting to do a bit more digital journaling via Daily Beans, which is an app for journaling on iPhone. I just found it on the App Store, and it's really great because it's very cute, and it's this little nudge where each day I can go in and track a couple of different things, add a photo, and then write a little bit of a description of just what happened in the day or thoughts that I was having or just anything reflective. And I don't do it every day because I do still forget, but it is nice to see my entries stack up over time, and then I get a little bit more motivated to remember to do my daily journal. My favorite number 3 is in the music category, and I have to give a special shout out to my favorite singer, Laufey. I wanted to call her out in my September favorites because she had a very Laufey day in September, and she was recently in Sydney performing at the Opera House and ICC in front of crowds of thousands just recently. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go, but it did really have me throw back to last year when Lucas and I flew to Melbourne because the tickets were sold out in Sydney, and we got last minute tickets to a second show that had been released where Laufey performed at Howler in Melbourne.
I'm kidding, I just wanted an extra day in Melbourne. It's so cute here. I was like, oh, this is the last show. I was like, okay, well, maybe we add another and then I can like spend a night and have a morning and like, you know, go to a coffee shop, you know, just typical Laufey things.
And that was actually a very small venue. It was kind of like this pub venue. Fit about 400 people, but it definitely felt like there were less there. And it felt like such a lucky opportunity to be there and see Laufey because I knew she was going to pop off. Like I had this feeling, and during that time when the tickets came up for the Melbourne show and we had to decide whether we'd buy flights there as well, I was like, you know what? This feels like a moment. Like we got to go to this show whilst she's still growing, because the next kind of shows where she comes back to Sydney will not be the same. And I was very right about that. So we got off the plane in Melbourne, didn't even get to check in yet, went straight to her show with our luggage and like backpacks and everything. It was really amazing. And yes, such a memorable experience for me. I absolutely love Laufey. So many of her songs that I like. Best Friend.
When we're 98 and 99, tumbling down the stairs, you're barely catching time.
From the Start.
Don't you notice how I get quiet when there's no one else around? Me and you and awkward silence. Don't you dare look at me that way.
I do really like Slow Down because I feel like that's my life at the moment. Street by Street.
This view used to bring a smile to my face. Lately it's done nothing but remind me of the way
Valentine.
I rejected affection for years and years. Now I have it, and damn it, it's kind of weird.
Dreamer. So many songs. Yeah, definitely if you haven't given her a listen, check her out. My fourth favourite is in the TV category, and the series that I'm binging at the moment is House MD. How nostalgic. I remember being a kid and seeing House on TV thinking, oh, it's that old angry man again. And I never really watched an episode, but recently I went over to my brother's place, and so we watched like 3 episodes in a row together that night. I was like, you know what, I'm going to start the series from season 1. I'm still on season 1, but near the end of it, and there's 8 seasons to get through. But it is so good. I'm really, really enjoying it at the moment. It's a very easy watch. It is a medical show, so House is this doctor. He's a doctor of diagnostics, so he does the diagnosing of illnesses. Every episode focuses on some patient who's come in and they've got all these symptoms, and the whole episode is almost like them being detectives, but they're trying to diagnose what exactly this patient has. There's a lot of plot twists and turns, and you always think it's like one certain illness, but then it turns out to be something else entirely. And yeah, it's just a really good watch. And finally, my last favourite for September is in the beauty category, and it is the Sun By Me Scalp Tonic. TMI, but I actually have some really bad habits where I scratch my head a lot on my scalp when I'm anxious, and it just causes all sorts of issues for me, which is really, really not good. So I recently bought the Sun By Me Scalp Tonic, which is really easy to apply because it's a simple spray, so I can apply it anytime, but generally I'll apply it after I shower and wash my hair, and it has this really soothing, cooling kind of menthol effect on my head, which just feels so good. But the best thing about that is it makes my head feel this kind of like cooling effect, and it helps me keep disciplined about not building my bad habits. It's also super affordable. It only costs me $12 from an online beauty store, so really easy for me to rebuy again when I inevitably run out. And that's it for this month's favourites. I hope you really enjoyed my September monthly favourites and look forward to my favourites for the next month. I want to hear from you guys as well, so let me know in the comments below, what's your favourite TV show at the moment? I'm keen to hear your recommendations, and I will see you all next time. Bye!